So I thought I would go through a video as well, because the blog post is pretty straightforward, and I thought maybe some people don't want to read the post and instead want to watch video. So more or less the same things, but I'll be more fluent and random, I guess. So how did I like this map compared to the original? The original, if you didn't know, it looks like this. So with that introduction, the first thing you normally want to do is you want to get some reference pictures, and that's basically what I got from Polybius. I got some reference pictures, and to get a general idea of what he wanted, how he wanted it. Although he did said I could do whatever I want, so that's kind of what I did. I kind of went for a sunset, sunrise kind of thing, because I saw this. So to do that, I changed my sky map, skybox. I added a poor but nonetheless better skybox. I turned it into a cube by importing it, picking cube, and eventually I made it into a skybox in here. And then I changed exposure as well as the tint, because it would normally be around this. So what I did was basically changed it, and I did it at the end to get a more cooler look and feeling outside. The next thing I did, well, one of the things, I'm not really following the order of my blog post at the moment. I picked the sunlight, share, and I changed the color, and I did intensity, and I kept it in direct multiplier at 1, so it would bounce around a bit. You can see, since it's real time, you can see the difference, right? So if I wanted to, you can see it's bouncing around the walls here, right? If I wanted little to none, I could have taken 1 or 0, which I've done on most of them, interior wise. So interior wise, I've added area lights, and it's the first time I've done area lights. Another thing I should probably point out is I didn't bother organizing the hierarchy when I got the map due to time, but generally you want to make sure those things are organized. What I did do, and currently doing, is putting it in my lighting. This is emissive light, so you can click that, and you can click and you could write it like emissive light stairs. And that's really one of the tips I didn't write in my blog post. It's really important to have a good structure and an organization. It really does make it easier. Normally want to keep this on its own, but I'm going to put it in our lighting, and this goes there. This does not go there, and this goes there. So you'll notice that when I do name it, you kind of want to try and name it to the best of your ability. But right now I just need to have a general idea. So back to the topic. area lights. I'm gonna move this away over here. So this is the area light, and I kept it quite different from place to place. This one is quite strong. I put it on 4, but I put invert multiplier at 0.2 on my last build. That means that throughout the project I kept it on 0 so I could see the shadows. Because if you have on 1, you might not see the shadow, especially when using area light. So if you don't see the shadow, it's either because the 3D part aren't really unwrapped with the second UV channel properly, or the scaling light maps are low. Like crazy low or non-existent. So your job is to, let's do 0.1, right? So you would actually adjust it, which I did, and Kulocane also did, who also lighted his version of the map, which is more daylight but darker inside in many cases. You'll notice I have another area baked light below with 1 intensity, and also added inverse multiplied by 2, so it jumps around as shown with the light, sunlight. I keep the color more or less dark, so it can reflect the surrounding areas. You can tell by this brownish color here versus the white color here, right? And that's basically to fake bounce light under and over. You can see it here versus here. Generally I wouldn't do it this way. I would probably have a spotlight only, and I would use a point light or something else. But point light normally in other engines, and I think maybe in this as well, is considered is 6-sided, so it's expensive. But area lights is also expensive, but gives softer shadow. So that's basically what I did, and I had a spotlight for these. What I also did here, I took away, I made a new material for these and called it van light off, and changed the color of these for van light on, which is HDR, and I kept it on almost 2 in emissive, and I added spotlight basically very quickly so that it looks on. Otherwise they all would be on and I would have spotlight on everything, and as a lighting artist you kind of want to tweak and adjust accordingly. And then lastly on this part you have the spotlight, and you can see the spotlight here. It's meant to give a shadow and a cookie, so you could kind of see the shadow here based on these, but I won't be using it because I decided to save some resources on baking time by deleting all my cookies, which I have upstairs as well. Delete. And what I'm basically doing, I'm gonna take this, and this is what I added at the end, because you couldn't really see the lights as strongly and exaggerated as I would like. So that's why I created these. And these are basically Unity cubes, and I have them on baked emissive at 1. And basically what I was doing was this. I simply added them here. Not too picky about it. And then I just copy them around, basically, like this. Then depending on how it was originally placed. I just moved them over, and that's kind of all I did to it. They look fine enough. Another thing I did, I kind of made a small emissive lights here beneath the stairs, and I put an area light below it to cast light and shadow here. And I also did an area light shadow that goes there, which is really meant to simulate these lights. But what we're gonna do is fix it a bit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep this. We're gonna turn its intensity to 0.5 more or less. We're gonna increase its range a bit as such. We're gonna take this one, we're gonna copy paste it. Now I'm actually fixing things while actually talking about what I did, but it might actually help you see some things as well. Gonna pull this up, gonna do this 1.3. I'm actually gonna do 1.3 because if that's too dark on my next build, probably final build if I'm not happy, it's gonna be 1.5 we have to do on the next one basically. I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna Control CV and hold on, Control, put it up, tweak it like this, put it down to 0.3. Put it down. Now why I'm doing this? Well, because light, we kind of want to try and follow the realistic light settings, and because light is going this way, this shouldn't be as dark. There should be more light like here. So, but this is too bright, doesn't make sense. So that's kind of why we're tweaking it. So that's basically what I did, and I removed all the spotlight cookies that you see because I added this. Right? If I didn't add it, that would make sense. Now, to save some building time again, we're gonna pick this and we're gonna go all black, and we also gonna click color and we're gonna take away the emissive, and let's double check, it's gone. So this basically saves building time and resources, so that's good. Here what I did, I put in area backlight intensity 1, and that's basically to reflect the blue emissive skylight coming in from here. This is meant to be a bounce light from the sun, and this one is added here to be bounce light from the sun on the desk, and this is on the wall. I'm actually gonna increase this to 8, and I'm actually gonna increase this one to 8. And I'm actually gonna pull this one a little bit down, a little bit to the side, and also increase this one to 8. These are basically lights from the screen, and these are basically bounce light from the screen, which you can barely see, but there is blue light here. And you can also see there is bounce light here on intensity 1. This is the blue light, and you also have that coming from on top, and then you have this one which kind of gives even more blue light from the top area to really give more highlight, the bounce light basically back up as well. Another thing I did, as mentioned before, I created a new user some material. I just double clicked it or dragged and dropped, and I put them in here, and I did channel, and I did this, then I did Control A, then I did Control C, V, Control M, no, Control L, I mean, wait, it was Control L, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. ML. I'm a bit stumped. I don't remember what I did. Oh. Huh. That's odd. But yeah, Control L and fixing the levels, and I played around with the settings basically to make sure that there are darker and lighter paths. That's basically what I did, and you can tell by when I click here on the left right side, it doesn't do anything. But if I click on this version, you can see that there is a new version here, basically. And that's basically what I did to get more control over the smoothness. Right. You can see the difference. If I do things here, you get some blue reflection, speculation. See it over here. But after I did my stuff, you can see you can really get some more crease into it. This is the place I didn't spend much time, but it's basically spotlight, and that's all I bothered. Same as here, it's to reflect the fire. I added a area light. Actually, I added a spotlight this time and I added out, and the reason I added a spotlight is basically because the area light would not be the same effect as I wanted. Here I added back the emission, and I cranked up the emissiveness so you could get this light from it. Well, that's basically it. That's the main part, and it's mostly tweaks and things like that, if I remember correctly. So hopefully that was useful. See you around.